Hey crafters, it's Leo with Dreaming Tree, and today we're crafting a card that captures the warmth of the season. It's our Fireside greeting card. It features a classic Christmas fireplace trimmed with all the charm of the holidays, but here's where it really glows, literally. We've added a vellum window behind the face of the card so you can tuck in an electronic tea light and bring that cozy fire to life. It's a little touch that makes a big impression. And if you're looking to mix things up, we've also included some print and cut captions as an alternative to the traditional cutout Merry Christmas version. So grab your glue and let's gather on the fire. It's time to craft something magical. The actual mechanism for this is very simple. I'm not overly concerned about that at all. This is mostly just kind of a paper piecing sort of project, and that's where we're going to start. We're actually going to start with the paper piecing portion of it. Okay. So what I want you to do, it seems like a lot, it's not. It's going to be fun. We're going to start off with this piece here. Make sure you fold this nicely and just kind of get it ready. This piece, this is our, I'm going to call this wallpaper. It's kind of like a wallpaper. I don't know if you're supposed to put wallpaper around your fireplace. I don't know if it has some weird effect on it. Maybe. I'm not going to worry about that, but that's going to go on in a second. We do need to put our vellum in place first. And what I'm going to do, just to make sure that we get it in the right spot as far as the glue, is we're going to put it back on our wallpaper portion of the project. Okay, so let's start with that. And for this, I'm just going to use a series of little dots, roughly just a little bit away from the inside perimeter. Make sure that you're covering up that cutout completely. And just pop that right into place. So we do have vellum here at the bottom. That's going to be for our fireplace, so we can diffuse that light. And then there's also one for the top. We have just a little set of little buildings that this homeowner put on his or her mantle. Just work your way around the little cutouts. If it's hard to see on your surface, just lift it up or put it on another surface, and just make sure that you got that covered up completely, like so. Okay, so now we've got vellum on both sides. All right, now this whole piece here is going to get glued to this piece, and you want to make sure that you line this up. It's going to be flush on the bottom, and we did that so that you don't see the vellum from the inside. Okay, it's just going to clean it up real nice for us. Okay, so go ahead. All right, so go ahead and get that glue flowing. I'm going to focus mostly around the perimeter. Do not put any glue on the vellum. Well, you can put glue on the vellum, just not in the places where it's cut out, because that glue will show through. So be very careful where you place your glue. You can put some in the center there, and that's about it. Okay, so again, we want to make sure that we line this up with the cutouts on that green layer. I'm going to lift this up, put it in the air a little bit, and then also just make sure that you have a nice even border around the top and the two sides. And again, it should be flush with the bottom, and mine is. Okay, so far so good. Looks great. Okay, and here is where we're going to start building the fireplace. Now this is 2 layers. Okay, this is going to be our first layer, the layer that actually has the little houses on it. That's going to get glued down first. Okay, and again, this is going to be flush on the bottom. So let's go ahead and get our glue going, get this glued in place. And again, this is a relatively simple card. There's nothing super crazy about the mechanism. It's essentially like an easel card. Okay, just match that up with the window cutouts as well as the fireplace. We got quite a few layers going on top of this. Make sure it's nice and centered. Press that down. And the wonderful part about this is that you don't need to be a mason to lay all these bricks we've got it cut out for you. Very simple. It's just going to go right like that. Okay, so let's flip this around and let's get this in place. I wouldn't concern myself with trying to get glue on every single little inch of this. Okay, just do your best. Maybe hit the bricks here and there wherever you can, especially out on the perimeter though. Make sure that that sits nice and flat. But don't worry about getting every inch of it, because by the time you do, your glue is going to start to dry up and basically defeats the purpose. All right, so match that up as accurately as you can. Again, making sure that the bottom is flush. That looks nice. Press that into place. Okay, that's looking good. Now, with this red layer, what we're going to do is we're going to add this little vellum cutout for our fire, because we want that to have a little bit of a different color. So that does need to get glued on first. Okay, and with this, just like we did with the other vellum, just do a series of little dots around the perimeter of where it's going. And just go ahead and just drop that into place. Just make sure that you've got the cutouts covered, like so. Just like that. Okay, and there you go. There's that. And that is going to get glued on flat, like so, right here. Okay. And I'm not going to worry too much about putting any glue on the actual flame portion. I want there to be a little bit of separation between the back and that. It might cast a nice little shadow once we get some light kind of penetrating through there. So I can leave that alone. And this is a pretty thin little piece, so I would just do a series of little dots so that you don't get glue shooting all over the place. But try to get some good, decent coverage on that. Okay, and again, you can see where each of these little sections are going to go. Just try to make sure that you maintain a nice even border between these little brick sections. And the bottom obviously should be level. There we go. That's perfect. Okay, so we've got the red layer in place. Next, we're going to put the brown layer on, and that is essentially for the wood. Okay, so we're working with some little dainty pieces here. Again, I like to call this one of those little surgery projects, because there are some little details that we're going to encounter. Just do your best. And again, if things don't stick first time around, remember, we always have our scrap paper. We can always do a little bit of painting if necessary to kind of fix any little areas that may need it. So that's going to go right on top of that red. And just make sure that it lines up with the fire nicely. I can tell that that little area there on the right, that glue is already dry and it is not staying put. That's okay. Happens to me too. Let me see where it did stay put though. See that? It's fine. Grab some scrap paper. We're gonna probably need a few pieces here and there. Just throw a little bit of glue on your scrap and then just lift up the areas that need a little extra love. Spread some glue on them and press it down. And you're totally fine. Not a big deal. Okay, that looks nice so far. And then we have a final layer here. It's the black layer. And that's going to go right on top like so. So same thing here. I actually have less surface area with this because it doesn't have all those little details. Get some glue on there. I'm actually doing a line here, wow. Okay, doing a line, I'm not doing a line. I'm putting a line of glue on there. We don't do that around here. If that one went over your head, then you are probably, you're not at the disco in the 70s. Okay, that looks good. All right, cool. So next, we're just gonna kind of build our way from the bottom up. One thing that we can put in place right now is the little wreath that goes at the top. We have the green part of the wreath, and then we have, let's see, where are you? You are here. And then we've got sort of a two-toned bow. There's this little guy that goes on the bottom, like so. And then there's one more piece that's a little overlay. Hopefully I can find them. Well, let's put it's a brighter red going on top of a darker red, and these are both glitters. My favorite combination. For those of you that are new, that was sarcasm. When you're applying glitter on glitter, the surfaces are not very porous, and sometimes it takes a little extra time for things to get a grip. Okay? And then find the little piece for the center. That would be this guy here. Should be the darker color. And there's one side that's a little bit longer or wider than the other, and that is your bottom. Your top is going to be a little bit skinnier, not as wide. Just finish that off in the center. There we go. Press that down. Okay, and then we're going to pop this right onto our little wreath, right onto that shadow layer there. So we can flip this around. And pop that onto the wreath. So we just had a cold front come through. I wouldn't call it cold, but we were rocking in the 90s with 100-degree heat indexes for a little while here, and had some much-needed rain come through. And suddenly, yesterday when I was driving to Diana's house, I started to get some fall vibes, which is always exciting. I think Liesl and I are definitely ready for school to get back into session. I think we've had enough. All right, so our wreath is gonna go. You'll notice that there are two little markers there. That's for the tips, the tops of the bow, to help you with the alignment. Just throw a little bit of glue on there, get some on the little tails of the bow, and just use that to line it up. Make sure it's nice and straight, beautiful. There we go. Might throw some little pearls on there or something, jazz it up. Okay, next, let's put our little houses together. And on the right side, we're gonna start with the yellow layer. On the left side, we're gonna start with the red layer, okay? And, you know, obviously with any project, if you feel like adding some ink, add some ink. These pieces are relatively small, so the inking will probably give you a very subtle effect, depending on the color. It's definitely more prominent on this yellow. All right, what is the name of this yellow color? Oh, beehive, that's what it is. There we go. Okay, and then just to make it easy and to build dimension, we are going to layer the next few layers of these houses. Okay, so this little guy here, he's gonna get a yellow one on top. So go ahead and get that glued into place. Like I said, this is mostly a paper piecing card, but it's gonna come out really nice. Okay, make sure that is, whoops, lined up as accurately as you can. There we go. Okay, and then over here, we're gonna find the two red houses. Those are gonna go right next to the yellow. Okay. Pop that right on there. Pardon my head if it's in the way there. Get that lined up. And then finally, we're going to have a single greenhouse right here on the right, left-hand side, sorry. There we go. And that is that. So, we just have a couple little sections that we need to assemble, and I'm going to do this. I'm going to add some more dimension. We're just going to keep building dimension, adding dimension, more dimension, more dimension. Okay, so we need the stockings, this little piece for the top of the stockings. Grab all 4 of your stockings. Okay, let's get these scrap pieces out of the way. You need the little tic-tac shaped pieces for your stockings. Should be 2 poinsettia pieces. Poinsettia. And let's build this guy. Okay, we're going to take the lighter green. I think this is a gingerbread going on maple syrup. It's making me hungry now. I wonder who named these colors. They probably did it before lunch. Okay, and just line this up at the top. I was going to run this through an embosser to give it a wood grain texture, but I couldn't really figure out where else to emboss anything, and I just thought it would be just kind of weird just to have it embossed in one little spot. So I left it alone. I think the inking will get the point across. Okay, next we're going to put down this little garland, and there are some little cutouts out here. If you want, you can try to kind of flare them out a little bit just to get a little bit of dimension poking through there. Obviously, you don't want to put glue on those sections if you are flaring it out, so work around them. And this element does contain the shadow version of the poinsettia that it's connected to, so it will make alignment a breeze for you. Start with that top petal and pop that right on there. And the rest of it should just fall into place like so. I do need to push that down, so you can always lift those up later on as well. Little interior cutouts. Okay, let's grab the larger poinsettia. Now I'm kind of second guessing myself as to the pronunciation. Okay, and it's not a symmetrical piece, so you may need to kind of rotate a little bit. This back layer, I'm going to glue down flat. The top layer, if you want, you can add a little dimension to it by curling the leaves towards you. That's totally optional, but I might give it a nice little touch. Okay, so just line that up. There we go. And hopefully I can find the little dot. The little yellow dot has to be somewhere. All right, I'm just going to take and curl these petals towards me a little bit. And if you're mailing this and it's going into an envelope, it may flatten out a bit, and that's okay. But I like to give this a little dimension if I can. Put a little dot of glue right in the center, and then don't put it on like that. Rotate it a little bit. Just offset it so that it looks more full. Make sure you get it good and centered. There we go. And now to find my little yellow circle, which I guarantee I won't find. It's probably on the floor somewhere. We can come back to it. You can see here on the prototype, there's a little yellow dot there. It's in your download. You probably cut it, and you probably have it on your table, but I don't. I'll find it. Get there. I might have to cut another one, and that's okay. All right, we'll just pretend it's there, okay? Let's go ahead and get our little boots in place. All these boots are identical, so it doesn't matter which one goes where. And I'm sure as I grab more pieces and more of the card comes together, I will eventually find that little yellow piece. Okay, so pretty self-explanatory where the little boots are going to go. And once we have those in place, you can add the little white accents on top. And honestly, even if I don't put that little yellow piece on there, I might just get some bling out. Maybe just throw a pearl on there instead. I mean, either way. Okay, and the last one. Line that up. And, you know, throughout this video here, I'm going to share kind of my thought process on why I did certain things. Like, for example, I had thought about, you know, you can use pattern papers for the stockings. Like at my house, we have, all of our stockings are completely different. They're not all the same. You know, so they're even different fabrics, different colors, different styles, and it all works. If you're going to do that though, just make sure that your pattern papers share like at least the tone of the colors is somewhat similar. If you're using different patterns from the same paper stack, then you'll be in good shape. You can't go wrong with that. They usually, the good designers anyway, they will usually do that by default. Okay. Losing that little yellow piece is driving me nuts right now, but that's okay. All right, so what we can do to get this in place, you can either glue this down flat. Hey Siri, stop. You can either glue this down flat, or if you want to give this a little pop of dimension, grab some foam squares and literally make it pop. So flip this around and you can put foam squares. I'm going to start on the outside, on both sides, and then find the middle, and then do one in the middle of that middle. I think that's plenty there. And then I will do one on each stocking as well. You could probably do a half of one. Let me see if it shows through at an angle. Not really. I think that's fine. If you get a little tight there sometimes, I just don't like seeing the edges of the foam squares when I'm looking at a project. So you can actually cut these with scissors and make them a little bit smaller, and they obviously still do the same thing. All right, so there's that. And we're just going to pop this right into place, just like this. Okay, the next layer we're going to work on is relatively simple. We made it 2 layers just to kind of reinforce it, give it some depth, and we're going to glue these 2 together, just right on top of each other. Okay, now if you want, since it is 2 layers, if you're going to hand deliver this, you can absolutely layer this with some foam squares. If you're mailing it, I'd probably glue it flat just because it might get too bulky, but just match that up like so. Press that down. Okay, now again, I'm walking you through this. I'm having you glue this together separately in case you decide that you're going to foam square it. But if you're not, then you can glue this straight onto the card. Okay, next you're going to find this little present. Okay, and that's going to go on right there. It's a dainty little piece. Just throw a little bit of glue on the bows. If you got too much on there, thin it out with your fingers so it doesn't make a mess on your maple syrup. Make sure it's straight. We cut this out of a glitter. Find the little bow that goes on top of that and make sure it's the correct length. Okay. And we'll just do a tiny little bit of glue on there. And I am going to thin that out with my fingers because, well, we don't need that much glue on it. And we're going to do some surgery here. Get that in place. Perfect. Press that down. That looks nice. Okay. And this little guy here, which is, well, one layer before the final layer, he's going to get glued right there, like so. Just make sure it's flush with the bottom so it hides that brighter color. So this guy, I'm going to glue this one down flat. You can, for sure, use some foam squares to add some dimension to this section if you'd like. I think over the years I kind of got to a point where I love adding dimension, but there's a limit for me. There's a limit where I say enough's enough. Okay. I love this color palette. It looks great. Okay, so that's all we needed to do there. And then it's really just a matter of building this final layer, which is a nice thick layer. Okay. And that is going to involve, first off, these two pieces, which again are identical because I do plan on using foam squares on this. Okay, so we do need to, this is going to be our base for everything. We need to glue this in place. And I wouldn't worry too much about trying to get every inch of this to take hold here, although I think we'll be okay. The only thing I might be concerned about are the little details on the tree here, but do your best. Get your glue out, especially all the way out to the edges or ends of the tree. And I would say that maybe this tree might have some little sections that have a mind of their own, but I think it's thick enough to where it should pretty much play by the rules as far as staying in place. And that's perfect. Okay, so let's press that down, let that get a good hold. Okay, let's make sure that everything has a good hold here. So far, so good. I think that's nice. Okay, and now it's just a matter of doing some more layering with the presents and the tree. Okay, we're going to have 4 additional layers for the tree, and we start with the white, and then we go yellow, red, and then green, I believe. Let's see here. Yeah. I think that's correct. And that just creates all the little ornaments on the tree without you having to place each one down individually. And then that goes on the white. Right, so that is correct. So that is the order. And you can start wherever you want. I'm going to start with the yellow onto the white. Let's do that first. And you know, sometimes we kind of fight with deciding, well, do we layer something like this, or do we have you install the baubles? Okay, so here you're just going to want to do your best to get everything lined up as accurately as possible. The main goal here is to try to avoid any of that layer that's underneath from peeking through the edges. You want it to be as lined up as possible so that when you're looking at it straight on, you can't even see the layer behind it. Okay. All right, next we're going to go with the red. Okay. Let's get that going. Yeah, we're more than halfway home now. Like I said, the actual mechanism for this is super simple. And this is a little insight into how OCD I am. I can't stop thinking about that little yellow piece on the poinsettia still. It's bugging me. Even when I got up to hit record again after my 30-minute mark, I was looking for it, panicking. Even if I cut out another one, I'll probably still be laying in bed thinking about it. Where did that thing go? Maybe it packed a little lunch and took an adventure. Probably ran off with some pretty pink paper or something, talking about having a family. Who knows? Maybe some glitter paper. I don't know. Anyway, down to the last layer here. But anyway, like I was saying yesterday, just felt kind of got the fall vibes a little bit. I know even kind of dreading the cold this time. As I get older, I feel like I don't like the cold, but I love fall. So now I'm just kind of like, am I turning into a tropical person? Do they have fall colors in the Caribbean? I'm kidding. But yeah, it's just the worst part of it. I mean, you can always layer up. That's what I always tell everybody. In the fall, you can layer up, but in the summer when it's so hot, it's not like you can peel off your skin. You know what I mean? It sounds kind of macabre, but all right. So there's our tree. And now this one is going to go on top of this one here. So we're really laying it on there, but it's nice too because it gives it nice dimension as well. So let's get this guy finalized. And we have a few gifts to put under the tree, and then we're pretty much on the last leg here on the home stretch. We just have to finish up the little mechanism, and we have an envelope as well. I'll show you how it all works. It'll be very simple. All right, there we go. Nice and thick. That looks great. Okay. All right, good deal. Next, let's find, so this little fella here, the one that has two gifts attached to it, it's going to go right there. And then don't forget that we have little bows that go on top of that. Make sure you find the correct size for each. Okay, so that goes there. And actually, I'm going to take that back. There's one more layer that goes here so that the gifts are different. And then this goes on top of that. Okay, so I'm going to do that off of the final section there. Let's get this bonus gift, or this other wrapping paper portion, glued onto this guy here. Just line that up as accurately as you can. And then we're going to finish these off with bows for each one. This one's a little bit, well, it's bigger because the gift is bigger, obviously. Okay. Okay, press that into place, and I noticed here that it's kind of a tight squeeze. I'm going to give that a press right there, flatten that out. And that's just probably because this gold paper is super, super thick. Okay, and then, well, let's put the other bow on next. Get that out of the way. Really going to test your dexterity with this project, that's for sure. This is good for you though. This is the kind of stuff that keeps you sharp. I think this is why I'm good. Oh, I grabbed the wrong one. Hold on a second. I cut out a couple of these. That's why I have two sets. Okay, got the wrong one. Let me get the right one here. The ribbon portion is a little bit longer on this one. You won't have that problem because the only one that's left that would fit this will fit it perfectly. I had the same one cut out multiple times because I was trying out different papers. There we go. That looks nice. Taking my time, wrapping my gifts. All right, now we can flip this around, flip this over. Apply your glue on the back, get a little bit on that bow, and pop this right into the bottom left-hand corner, right in front of the tree. Beautiful. Okay, and then finally, over here, where are you, mister? There you are. There's our large present. Let's throw the bow on this guy. Hey, Mr. Yellow Circle, where are you? Where'd you go? probably hopped on Expedia, booked a flight to Europe. Something crazy. That little yellow piece was always a troublemaker. Okay. All right, so you notice that I still have the UPC label on the back of this. That's okay, no one will ever know. No one will ever know the mystery of the UPC label. I'm getting weird now, that's okay. All right, so that gift goes there, that gift goes there. Perfect. All right, cool. So as I mentioned, this layer is one of the layers that I'm planning on elevating using some foam squares. Okay, so we can flip this over. And where are you, Mr. Foam Squares? Did you join the yellow piece on an expedition? I think you might have. All right, here it is. All right, so we're gonna start here. We're gonna go here, and I am gonna be thorough with this one here. I really want this to stay in place nicely. Okay, let's go up the tree. I'm not gonna go out to the edges. Oh, and by the way, we do have a gold star for the tree. We need to get that going. And I'm gonna get some scissors out so I can cut some thinner foam squares. Need some thinner foam squares for the tree because I have some already cut, but I just wanted to show you that you can literally just take scissors and cut right through, and it'll actually stay on the little backing. Okay, so just go right up the center. Let me peel this off, that's kind of annoying. We'll do one more there, and then can even cut it. Oops. Don't use your fabric scissors for this. You will get some adhesive on it, and that's a big no-no, obviously. That's gonna go there, like that. And can we get one on the star? Do we need to? Maybe. Let's see. Not bad. Okay, we'll go with that. I'll roll with it. I'm gonna put one there. And then for this little strip here, I'm gonna use some half ones here. I don't want those poking out. So I'm just gonna go outside and then center. And because this thing is so skinny, I'm gonna add two more. It's funny, this is the one thing in life, well, a few things, but this is one of the major things in life where that and photography, anything that I've been doing for a long time, experience is a wonderful thing. You can't teach experience. I guess you can teach experience. The thing is, sometimes, like raising kids, you try to teach them based on your experiences. They don't want to listen. So experience, I think, again, is probably the best teacher. All right, so let's peel this off. Let's get this on there, and the rest of it's going to be a cakewalk. Okay. I think it's pretty self-explanatory where this goes. We have that little brown section there. It's going to help you with the alignment. Pardon my head for just a second. We want that to be flush with the bottom, like everything else. There we go. Look at that. That is lovely. That is so cool. Okay. Can you see that? Yeah. All right. What's left? I don't think there's anything left on there. Oh, the star and that yellow piece. It's probably at the airport right now, going through customs. It's probably been about 45 minutes. It's only about 45 minutes to the airport from here. Hope he comes back. All right, there's our star. Stay on there, star. Yeah, I need more glue than that. Star thinks that my finger's where it wants to be. I disagree. You go right there, mister. There you go. Okay, now this one with the Roman numeral 2, it has a series of little score marks there. And then we're gonna take this little guy, and on this piece are a series of oval, there's 4 markers in the shape of an oval, okay? And there's 2 markers here. You're gonna just line this up with those markers, and we're gonna glue this down flat, Okay, this is going to be where we're going to add our caption ultimately. And this matches the little wallpaper that we have next to our fireplace. So get that in place. Line that up nicely. Drop that in place there. Now you can't see this on camera, but when I cut this pattern, I had this much that was not there from a previous cut. I just took some and I glued it to the back just to finish it off. No one will even notice that. I wasn't even going to tell you, but I did. Okay, so anyway, this is going to go like this, which means that this piece is going to get glued here and here. Okay, so you need to, well, I mean, there's a tab there. It's pretty self-explanatory. It can only really go in one place. We're going to apply glue to the tab, like so. Spread that out all the way to the very edge. I want this thing to look nice and clean. And then you can take this piece. You can lay it down flat like this. Make sure you have the texture side up. And I probably let this dry too long, but we'll see. Press that down. You can fold it over onto itself. And just make sure that it's flush on both sides. And press down right at that seam. What a cute card. Okay. And then, that looks nice. And finally, this guy's gonna get glued here because this guy's gonna open up like this. And we're gonna have, actually don't even need the caption to keep it up because it's such a tall card, but it's still nice. And we're gonna foam square that too. I wanna give that a little pop. Okay. There we go. Make sure your texture sides are all pointing the same way. Okay, I think I went about, I don't know, 4 minutes before I started thinking about that yellow piece again. It's probably at the terminal now. Okay, I'm just gonna, if you love something, let it go. If it comes back, it was meant to be. So, all right. So this, again, because of the angle, it kind of sits on its own. Let's take a look at the little caption here. Now, again, we always like to include a cuttable version, okay? And so here's your Merry Christmas cuttable. And the way this works is you need to glue this on top of the gold. We're using gold foil. You may not be, but we are. You're going to glue this on top of that layer, and then this white layer is going to go behind it to fill in those little gaps, okay? And then I'm going to foam square this here. But I want to see if I like any of these more. In which case, you don't need the white layers. I'm just going to go with the red. I think I like that better. And this is a print to cut. This is pretty much impossible to cut with a machine. It would just completely destroy it, which is why I did the print and cut. Let's take a look at these options. That's cute too, not my fave. This one could work too. I guess I'm just kind of oh, that's nice too. I like that one. Either go with that one or this one. I'm gonna go with this one. I'm kind of like an old school, conservative, traditional, whatever you want to call it, when it comes to stuff. So I'm going to go with this one. Just make sure you pop it right on there. Nice even border all the way around. Press that down. And the reason that I want to, and again, you have the little markers there to show you where to put it. I'm going to foam square this so that it kind of sticks up a little bit and gives the face of the what's it called, the fireplace. It's got something to bump into so it really stays put, if you know what I mean. All right, so we're going to do I got some larger foam squares here. I'm going to do a total of 4 of them. Really kind of space out the what's it called? Space out the work for them. Let me move this out of the way so I can see this better. Pardon my head for one split second. Just want to make sure I get this nice and centered. There it is. Okay, beautiful. And voila. I love it. Here, I don't have my tea light here with me, but there's a little light there. And I'm going to use this is a daylight colored light. I'm going to do it with something warmer. Those electronic tea lights are usually a warmer color anyway. So, okay, so there's that. That ain't going to happen. Okay, so let's go ahead and fold our envelope. This is the solid scoreline version of our envelope. And I did this with my Caesar Juliets. Juliet machine. I love it. It's been a good friend. Very consistent. If you are looking for one, you can grab it on our sister site, svgtools.co. All right, so we're going to bring in these 2 flaps and then the bottom one. We need to glue that shut. Okay, so go ahead and throw a little bit of glue right there and there. Start here, work your way down and down. Fold it closed. Okay, there we go. And up here is where our little wreath is going to go. Okay, and don't forget, we're going to start with the larger bow. Just do a few little drops of glue, get some on the little tails, thin that out if needed. Flip her over. And get that in place. And then it's essentially the same wreath that we have above the fireplace, except it's a little bit larger. There we go. And then grab the little accent piece. And it's going to go at the bottom of the original one so that the darker red is up at the top. There we go. I think I got a little glue on there. That's all right. And then this little guy here, the wider part will be at the bottom. And we're going to glue that to the flap of our envelope. Perfect. And you can see here again, we have the 2 markers for the top tips of the actual loops on our bow. So that's going to go like this. Pardon my head, and like that. Press that down, and your envelope is complete, as is your card. Now it's going to fold like this. Okay, so, and then when your recipient gets it, they open it. This flares down, and it's ready to go. So that is going to do it. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please visit us on our YouTube channel. Hit that subscribe button. While you're there, hit the little bell so you get notifications anytime we release a project. If you happen to make this or anything from our Christmas card set, I'd love to see it. So would the rest of our community. Head over to your Facebook, do a search for Dreaming Tree Official. I'm also hanging out at the Creative Fabrica Clubhouse under the Papercraft section. We hope to have our own Dreaming Tree section there as well. But either way, for those of you that have joined us over at Creative Fabrica, thank you so much. If you haven't, to access any of our new content, you will need an all-access subscription, which is $47 a year, comes out to about $4 a month. So less than the cost of 1 bundle per month. But anyway, I had a blast. This thing turned out awesome. And as always, I look forward to crafting with you again.